are good to go.
That's it? It's on? That was quick.
Yes, sir. No, it's been on.
Oh, okay.
Been recording.
Okay, shit.
Yeah, we out here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you. We got Ryan today. So last time I saw you was probably in high school, unless we randomly ran into each other.
No, I think it was definitely high school, which was almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
2014?
Yep.
Also like 10 years ago almost.
Almost 10 years ago. Crazy, bro. Time flies.
Time flies, dog.
Time flies. How have you been since high school? What did you get into? I know you went to play baseball somewhere in college, right?
Yeah, so I played at Nova. So high school, I was a position player. When I went to Nova, I pitched. So it was literally learning a whole new sport. So my freshman year, I redshirted. Sophomore year, freshman redshirt year, pitched, sucked like a 10 ERA. So I played summer ball my freshman year in Orlando. Then the next year after that, I wanted to stay in Miami, and my coach, this is literally my end of year meeting, and my coach goes, I was like, yeah, they got the South Florida League, I just want to stay here. My coach looks at me and he goes, he's like, do you ever want to play like in this program? I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, if you play in the South Florida League, he goes, you're never going to pitch here a day in your life. I was like, okay. It's like, what the fuck's this guy's problem? Because they wanted to send me to upstate New York to a league. Like, it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
It's a big weather change.
Yeah, but it was during summer, but still, big weather change. And I ended up in this place called Boonville, New York, but more on that later. I came, and basically I figured that's where I figured out how to pitch, because I went through a lot of stuff, but basically I sucked for the whole summer. And there was this one start where they put me to start against the best team in the league, which was all D1 players. And I gave up 12 runs in the first inning. I couldn't get out of the inning.
What? 12 runs?
I got 2 outs.
How do they even let you in there for 12 runs?
It was crazy.
How many
we had the last place team, so our team sucked. We had no pitching left.
How many timeouts were there? Did they care to talk to you?
No, there's one mound visit, and the second mound visit, I think you got to change the pitcher. Okay. So they said, bro, we knew we were going to lose, so they just said, let them figure it out. And then I threw 84 pitches in the first inning.
Oh my God.
The next day we're playing. I'm not even on a day of rest. It's the 4th inning. We're getting smacked again. They're like, Ryan, you have to pitch. And I was in such a dark place. I was like, bro, I didn't care. I didn't even warm up. I threw two balls in the pen, and I said, all right, let's go. So I literally get out there, and I was doing some sort of motion where I was like I don't care. And I was like, oh, okay, I got through this inning. And then the next inning, it's 1, 2, 3 inning. I was like, okay. And the next inning, it was 1, 2, 3 inning. I was doing this weird, lift my leg and pause and just throw. And I was like, I really don't care. And I ended up throwing 6 scoreless innings in relief. And then 4 days later, I threw again, 5 scoreless innings. And something just clicked. So I figured it out that year. Junior year, I was the guy out of the pen. I had a sub 1 ERA for the whole season, until my last 2 games. I gave up 2 bombs, first ones of the whole season, and then I hurt my arm that summer, and then senior year kind of sucked. So I had one glory year of baseball.
Would you say it was the mechanics that changed, or your mentality?
No, it was 100% mentality at first, which sparked it sparked the immediate result, but then obviously to sustain that, I finally learned mechanics. I learned how to use my legs. I developed a good changeup. But yeah, it was a lot. I didn't change that much. It was a lot of just being confident, and that carries on into the real world too. So
yeah, definitely. So after baseball, how many years of baseball did you play?
It was the 4 years in high school or college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my junior year when I was doing good, I actually had some scout interest somehow. I didn't throw hard. I was 86, 89, touching 90, 91 on a good day. And I was realistic, bro. I knew it has to be a miracle for you to make it into the bigs, throwing that hard. So I was realistic. I had a couple scouts watching just because my stats were crazy. I think I had a .2 ERA. I started that season with 24 scoreless innings out of the pen. So I was like dominant, bro. It was like 15 games where like I was dominant. So like it was just whatever. But the reason I say that, and it almost sounds like I'm kind of bragging, which I kind of am, because it was like my 1 year of glory, bro. So I want to bask in it. But it was cool. Yeah, I played the 4 years.
That's fun. Yeah, everyone should always bask in the glory whenever they get a chance.
It's just for that 1 year. I usually don't like showboating, but for that 1 year, I'm good to do it.
So were you big on grades while you were at school? Like, did you know that if you didn't make it, because you said you were being realistic, if you didn't make it to the major leagues, did you already have something else in mind?
So this is kind of where I went back to. I'll tell you about Boonville, where I went a little bit after. So all throughout college, I kind of had, like, I've always been business oriented, right? And like always making money, always having little businesses. So in high school, I actually started this like iPhone business. So I called it Cash for iPhones. So I would basically buy all my friends' iPhones. Do you remember that? Where I would buy people's iPhones and then I would just resell them myself on like eBay. I think
you might have bought one of mine.
Yeah, so like, I would buy it for $100, and then you didn't know, like, this was before like eBay, like people knew about online and like offer up and stuff. And I would literally just buy it from you for $100 and then go sell it for like $300 and make $200 profit.
I do remember that, yeah.
So I did that, and then when I went to college, I got into like my cousin got me into e-commerce. So all throughout college, being a student and playing baseball, I was into e-commerce and drop shipping and that whole era of like Facebook ads, products, websites. So it took me a while to learn that. To answer your question specifically, yes, I had good grades, but that's just like how I was raised. Like, just you have to get good grades because college, blah, blah, blah. But like school, like I didn't give two shits about school. It was just like I got good grades because it's what I was supposed to do.
It's exactly what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what our parents told us to do, and we're good kids, so that's what we did, right? We like, it's just what you did. But like school doesn't teach you shit about business in the real world. So while I was in college, I started my businesses, and I was learning everything from YouTube and like courses, which is what I continue to use to run my business today. Not one single thing that I learned in college, I have a marketing and entrepreneurship degree, that I apply to my business today. Like literally not one thing. It's all self-taught of online courses, YouTube, I don't know, reading people's blogs, listening to webinars, things like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much information that's so easily accessible to us nowadays that paying so much for school is a little bit unnecessary unless you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer or something specific.
Like so it literally sounds like you just quoted me because I say that all the time. Like, unless you need like the degree for your job, like a doctor or lawyer, like a business administration degree, it's like, I don't get it. Like, I just don't. The school system is literally so outdated. What they were teaching me about marketing was like newspaper ads and like just things that were so irrelevant, bro.
It's almost like you can go into a college class and teach them more.
Yeah, dude.
More informed.
Like, what's actually going on? Like, how to make a Facebook ad, how to rank in Google SEO, how to do Google PPC ads. Like, that's how you actually sell stuff. Like right now in today's age, not newspaper ads.
So is that what you learned throughout your just looking into drop shipping and e-commerce?
Yeah. So sorry, I forgot to.
Did that take a lot of studying, like, a lot of hours per day, or did you?
Yeah. So the workflow was very similar. The workflow was very similar to like when I worked my job and running my business. It was the same thing. Full-time student and playing baseball was the job, and then I was doing my businesses on the side. So before class, in between class, before practice, after practice, which was when I was focused on my business and like learning things. So some nights I would dedicate to learning, and then other nights I would dedicate to like implementation. Because that's one thing. If you just learn and never do, nothing's ever going to change. You actually have to do. So I basically learned for the first 2 years of college and I tried basically 12 different drop shipping stores, and one had mild success, which was my first one, which was a fishing store. And then I tried 12 other ones that all failed. And then when I went to Boonville in summer ball that 1 year, for those that don't know how summer ball works, is you basically get sent off to a random location. You live with a host parent, so someone you don't know, in their house, and you basically play every day at like 6 o'clock. There's like no practices. Like basically you have a lot of free time except from like 6 to 9 o'clock when you're playing and traveling. So I had all that free time in the world, and that's when I really started getting I started sharpening my skills, because what I was doing clearly wasn't working. So I'm like, I know I'm missing something. And I really learned how to do marketing and do Facebook ads. Like I watched a whole bunch of webinars and YouTubes, like hours and hours. And then I finally started fine tuning some stuff, and I started another fishing store while I was there. And that was like the birthplace of the business I run today.
When you said that you had like 12 other stores that didn't make it, when you say stores, is that like a product specifically?
Yeah, so the way you're supposed to do drop shipping stores is you do it in like a niche. So the first niche I did was fishing. So I sold fishing specific products. Then I was like, all right, I don't want to do this. Then I tried selling puppy stuff and pet stuff. Then I started selling beauty tools and makeup tools. Then I started selling like college gear and flags and like bottle openers. And the reason I circled back to fishing was because that's something I've always done my whole life. So like I know about the industry and I know about the products. So it's very easy for me to communicate like a customer or to the customer. So when I talk about business and starting these kind of businesses, a drop shipping store or e-commerce store, I always talk about do something that you know about, because like I'm pretty sure you don't know much about makeup, right?
Not at all.
So if you wanted to start a makeup store, it's going to be very difficult for you to sell makeup brushes because you don't know how to talk like a girl who knows makeup. Just as if a girl who doesn't know anything about fishing tries to start a fishing store, she's going to have a much harder time making ads, picking products, writing ad copy for fishing stuff. So I know how to speak the language of the customer I'm targeting, because it's me basically.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you grew up fishing and this is something that you love doing already.
Yeah. So I fished my whole life. I got 2 older brothers that always fished. My dad always fished. So that's like, I went to fishing camp when I was like 10 for like 5 years every summer. Yeah,
cool.
Miami
Fishing
Beach.
camp. That's
Miami,
awesome.
shout out Miami Beach fishing camp.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
That's
so
fun.
It was just natural when I started the business. Again, after knowing what I knew, like it was a lot easier for me to make ads talking and selling fishing products specifically, because I knew the customer lingo.
So is that something that you do and you take care of on your end when it comes to like the description of the product and which product you're going to sell specifically, the colors? How does all that play in together? Is that just you just creating a brand?
So I guess I'll give a backstory about what I actually do, because I haven't mentioned that. So I started a dropshipping fishing brand in college. A couple years later, I ended up selling that dropshipping store, and the person I sold it to kind of ran it into the ground. So I negotiated half of that business back and then started an actual branded product called Beyond Braid, which is my actual brand now. And that's what's grown into the multiple 7-figure brand that it is now. Beyond Braid, we sell fishing products, specifically fishing line, but we sell other products like fishing pliers, fishing knives, fishing backpacks, other stuff. But the main business is fishing line. So that's how it came to be today. So now you can ask your question, because I forgot.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of questions when it comes to this, because I have always been interested in e-commerce, especially where we're going nowadays with technology and how easy it can be when it comes to just selling products online and just having it fulfilled automatically, which is something that we'll get into as well. But when it comes to selling one of these shops, like you mentioned, how does that work? Does someone that want to buy, are they buying this shop because it is selling this specific product that is making this much each month and they want to be a part of that, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, the reason the guy wanted to buy my business was he was an older dude with a lot of money that just wanted another stream of income.
Did he reach out to you, or you were looking
so I listed my dropshipping store on a website called flippa.com. So there's one called Marketplace Exchange and flippa.com. It's where you can sell businesses. So I listed it on there. I think I listed it for like 70 grand, and I ended up selling it to him for 50 grand. And this is, I I just graduated college. I just got a job working for Grant Cardone, which is another topic we'll cover. But like I think I was only working for him for like 2 months. And then I ended up selling that for 50 grand. So I think I was 21 or 22, and I had like over 100 grand liquid in my pocket. So I was like on top of the moon.
This was during baseball or after baseball?
This is like literally like 2 months after I graduated. So after baseball was finished and I graduated. But yeah, people, you can go to those websites and there's hundreds of businesses listed. Like if I'm ever going to sell my business, unless like a direct competitor reaches out to acquire us, I'll probably list it on there, and they just take like a small fee. So.
And when you listed it for 70,000, were you making profit at the time?
Yeah. So the way the multiple on it, I think for a drop shipping store. So what a drop shipping store is basically a website with no inventory and a good Facebook page with a good following. Like I had 30,000 followers on the Facebook page. So I think that year I did like 200,000 in sales with like 50 grand in profit, like the year before, while I was still in college, my last year of college. So those stores, the equity multiple that typically trades at is like 1 to 2. Mm-hmm. So it makes $50,000 profit the last 12 months. If you buy it for $50,000, that's standard, and that's pretty much what I sold it for.
Yeah, that makes sense. How did that go down? Were you excited? Like,
yeah, bro, it was crazy.
Was it just a deal where he called you or texted you, email? How did that even happen?
So he saw my listing, and then he contacted me. I got his number, and we had a couple calls. And like I mentioned, I just got a job working for Grant Cardone, and I was learning sales working for Grant, right? So I had access to sales training.
So you closed this deal of selling your company while working at Grant?
Yes.
Just working at Grant?
Yeah, I just started working at Grant.
Did he know about this, or did they hear about this?
No, they didn't know about it. They did not know about it. The company culture at Grant's was like, you don't really have any side hustles. It's like, you're working here. That's how you. So I didn't really like to talk about it there. But the sales skills I was learning working for Grant, I applied to sell this business. So I had to sell this guy this business, right? Dropshipping stores, they're not a real business. They can make money in the short term, but it's not a real business because you're not selling your own products. You don't have any inventory. Your shipping times are long. Like dropshipping is a good way to make quick money, but it's not like a sustainable business. So I was using my sales skills to sell this guy. So it was after like three calls. He's like, "Yep, like I'll buy the business." So the contract we negotiated, it was 50 grand, 44,000 up front, and then I would train him and his girlfriend at the time how to like operate the business for 2 months, and then I get the 6,000. So transitioning after that 2-month training period, they're older, so they're not great with computers and technology. The business was like profitable. I think it had made like 8 grand the month before I sold it to them. And then when I sold it to them after those 2 months, it was losing like 4,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So this guy basically told me, he's like, dude, I'm like screwed. Like, I don't know what to do now. So I told him, I was like, give me back 51% of the business. I need control because I need to run it. I'll get it profitable, and then we'll just sell it again, and you get like an extra $5,000. That was our deal. So we started running it. I started running it again.
So he goes from wanting to buy and then build to basically buy and then sell for profit.
He wanted to buy and have it run as a business. I basically convinced him, give me. He thought he was out 50 grand because the business started losing money, right?
Gotcha.
He thought it was gonna be easier to run, and when I got it back, I'm like, look, I'll take back 51%, I'll get it profitable, and then we can sell it again. That way you at least get some of your money back. That's like literally the mindset both of us had. He was like, okay. And he right now is a COO of a publicly traded media company. So he makes a lot of money, and he's like a pretty smart business guy. So when I got the business back, I started running it. I got it profitable again, drop shipping. And he kept hinting at me. He's like, hey, man, like, how can we grow this? How can we grow this? How can we grow this? I was like, the only challenge with dropshipping is you don't have inventory. You're not building a brand. So you have, like, bad customer reviews because the product's coming straight from China to the customer. So it takes, like, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So I was like, we would need to start a brand and buy inventory. And that's, like, a $20,000 to $30,000 conversation because you have to invest in inventory. And then it just got to the point where we both decided, we're like, yeah, let's just try this and see what happens. So I took some of the money because I still got to keep the 50,000 this whole time. So I took some of the money, he took some of the money, and we spent $30,000 on our first inventory round of Beyond Braid, and that's where Beyond Braid, the current business I run now, was born. From there, it was a rocket ship.
Yeah, it worked out magically for you. The fact that you were able to, he bought the company and then gave you back 51%, and then you used that money to reinvest in that company is just, that's amazing.
But now check this out, right? It sounds like I got the better deal, right? But now here's the situation. I run the business full time. My partner's passive, owns 49%, and I built this business. Last year we did 3.2 million in sales, and he doesn't do anything. And let's just say I paid him back a lot more than 50,000 in distributions.
Yeah.
So it's like who really? Yes, did he take a risk in the beginning? For sure. But at the same time, it's like.
No, so ideally, if you would have never put it up for sale, you know, that would have been great. But the fact that you still have it and you ran with it and you built it, I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure he's
dude.
He's
look,
grateful
it's give and take on both sides, because you could say, look, he should have never given it back to me, but then he would have 100% of nothing.
Right.
And in the first place, if I would have sold it, or I would have never sold it, maybe I would have never made the decision to grow it. So I would have had 100% of nothing. So the fact that it all happened and came together, yes, it worked out great for both of us. Now the conversation is like, if we're going to continue scaling this business, and him and I are talking about it, is how do I maybe get more equity so I am a little bit more excited, right? Like we're talking about like revenue targets. If we hit 6 million and then 10 million, I get a certain piece of equity, but we have not worked out that deal yet. So I don't know, but dude,
do you guys hang out often, or talk?
So he's
business.
64 years old, so he's older, and he lives in Naples.
Naples is beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it over there.
When we first started Beyond Braid, we were basically had a phone call every Saturday for like an hour just to talk about everything. But
those are two big markets, Miami and Naples. That's
Ever since I left my job and kind of took it full time, we don't talk as much just because there's not that many updates I have to give him. But like, we met with Bass Pro Shops in January this year. Like, he came out, flew with me. We just went to Walmart last week. He came out and was in the meeting. So we talk. He's honestly a super, super cool dude.
That's good, man. That's awesome. Relationships are always important, especially when they're business partners.
Yeah, and it's good to know someone with connections and money, which is what he has, both of those.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask you about, and we'll get into this, I want to know about how when you made that decision of getting 51% and then building it, how you built it. But before we get into that, you mentioned you work for Grant Cardone, and I'm assuming you graduated and then got a job with him. So just talk to me about how, like, was that always in the plan, or once you graduated, you started looking and found it?
Dude, a lot of what I do...
And did you know who Grant Cardone was before working for him?
A lot of what I do is usually not planned. It just happens. So literally our last away trip, I got an ad from Grant for one of his free books, his real estate book. So I bought the book and took it on our last away trip. It was How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate. It was a super easy read. And I read it on the way home. I finished the book in like 2 days. I was like, wow, like I really, like I want to invest in real estate now. Like he laid it out like that's like the ultimate investment. And then that was our last away trip, season ended, and I had like 2 more weeks at my apartment. So I was just sitting there in Davie, and I was just sitting there like, all right, I graduated now. I have this drop shipping store that I'm doing, but it's not like what I see myself doing full time because it's not a real business, right? So I was like, real estate, like I should do something like that. Let me get my real estate license. Because that's what a lot of people do, is they think they want to get into real estate, so they get their real estate license, which is a huge mistake. So I got the real estate course. I paid for it, paid like $100. I did like an hour of it. I was like, this is stupid. So I put my computer down and I look at the book on my couch. I'm like, Grant Cardone. It's like, I think he mentioned he's in South Florida. So I open my computer back up, type in Grant Cardone office. His office is in Aventura, which is 20 minutes away from my house. So I look at job openings. They had customer service, they had sales, and investor relations. Customer service, I said, I don't want to do that. Sales, at the time, I was like, ew, sales, like sleazy car salesman. No, I'm like, investor relations, which was Cardone Capital, his real estate team. It's basically like relationship management, investments, things like that. I was like, that seems cool. So the requirements to work for him was record a 30 to 60 second video of why you're perfect for the job and a resume. So obviously there's nothing on my resume because I never had a job. I basically put on that I run my own businesses. Here's what I've done. I do customer service because I talk to people in my business, which is semi-true. And then I just basically sold myself on the fact that I was like a good person. I was responsible. I was sharp. I can work on a team. And that's what I said in the video. And then I sent it in. I got an email back like 2 days, say, hey, come in for an interview. So they make you come into the office. I met with some kid named Andres, who's now one of my good friends. We were like, he was a couple years older, but technically he was my boss. But it was like my friend. It was weird, but. And then, we had the interview. He liked me. I met the VP, this guy named Ryan Secco, who's his pilot and now runs Cardone Capital. They liked me and they said, screw it, we'll take a shot on this kid. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And that's what I realized about that company. They like to hire a lot of good young people that are trainable. So a lot of their staff, they have 150 people. It's a lot of young kids that just don't know much about business or sales, and they have all the training tools to develop these people. So I basically kind of bullshitted my way in there, got the job, and
was that a job like a salary job or?
Yeah. So my job was basically sales for investments. So Grant buys all these multifamily real estate properties. Like I think 10X Miami River is like down there that they just bought last year for like 150 million.
Yeah.
So that property is 150 million bucks. The down payment's 50 million. They get a loan from the bank for 100 million. So what Grant does is he raises money from his audience for that down payment of 50 million. So he's required by the banks to keep in his own money. So he'll keep in $5-10 million of his own money, but the other 40 million comes from his followers and people that know him, business owners, etc. So that was my job, was reaching out to the leads, saying, hey, we got this property, 10X Miami River. Here's the returns. Minimum investment's 100,000. Do you want to put in 500,000, a million, 10 million, whatever? So that was my job, was getting the investments.
So it was just investors.
Yeah.
Investing towards this big.
Into multiple properties. So I was there when I got there, we were on Fund 3. When I left, it was like Fund 18. So I had been through like a bunch of properties. So I learned like so much about real estate that like you cannot get in any course or book. You just have to get the real experience. And I got a really good insider, which is super cool.
Yeah, no, that's something that's extremely valuable, especially at your age, coming out of college. This is exactly what somebody with, your interest could definitely would benefit from. So were you outsourcing these investors or were they coming to you?
No, it was all their leads. It was all Grant's leads. Grant had too many leads because he has so many followers, right? He's got 4 million on Instagram, whatever. They have so many leads that it wasn't like cold calling anyone. It was just like, hey, we had new leads to the website every day. People DM'd him, and then it was our job to bring in those investments.
Did you ever meet him?
Yeah. So our company, Cardone Capital, was newer, where his other business, all of his businesses were under one roof, but Cardone Capital was newer, and my desk was here, and his office was 20 feet away. So every time he walked in, he was right there.
Nice.
And he worked closer with us because we were newer, and he wanted the business to kind of run how he wanted it to run. You know what I mean? So he was a little bit more involved than the other business. It was really cool, dude. Like I learned, it was the perfect, I'd say, like master's degree. That's what I consider my master's degree of the real world, because I learned marketing, I learned sales, I learned real estate, I learned how to run a business, and like real world stuff that you don't get in college. And I learned it, like how to actually do it. So it was literally like truly a blessing. I cannot say enough higher things about working there. Like it was life-changing.
How long did you work there for, and why did you leave?
It was 2 years. I think 2 years to like to the day almost. And I left because my business had blown up. So it was basically for like really like 6 months while I was still there, it was like tearing me if I should stay or not. Because the thing about quitting there, it's like once you quit, you're not going back, right? So it was an extremely unique opportunity to work there because I'm meeting all these cool people, high net worth individuals that are investors that I still have relationships with now that I met through there. So it's like, do I want to give that up? Should I just stick it out and keep learning more? But it basically got to the point where I felt like the amount of information I learned kind of peaked. And at the same time, my business was doing really, really well. So my schedule basically looked like getting up at 5 to go to the gym, getting home at 6, working from 6 to 7 on my business, showering, driving to work from like 7 to 8. We had to be at work at 8 o'clock. We did 30 minutes of training, like sales training, like basically homework review, then 30 minutes of role play, so like sales calls. Then we had a morning meeting, and then whatever, the whole day would go. Some days I'm not getting out of there till like 6, 7, 8 o'clock because it's not an ordinary 9 to 5. Like working for him is very intense. So I'd get home by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I eat, sit on the couch for 10 minutes, and then I'm literally working on the business another 3 hours till like 11, 12 o'clock and doing it all over again for 2 years.
Was that commission-based?
My job was not commission-based. So that's the thing that was tough was...
But salary has you there like...
Yeah, it was salary plus a
gotta...
big bonus. But the thing that was tough was no matter how much money I raised, I would still get the same paycheck. But like if I put more effort into my business and created more ads, I'd make more money. So it got to the point, the breaking point was I'm like, hey, the pros outweighed the cons. Like if I quit my job and focus full-time on my business, I could take this potentially to $10 million a year. And worst case, I could always just go get another job. Whereas the pros and cons of staying there, the ones to leave the job just made way more sense to do.
Yeah, a lot of times my brother emphasizes this too. When you have a decision to make, you need to write down your pros and cons, and that's going to help you really determine where you need to go in life. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you're making an emotional decision, but when you put the pros and cons in front of your face, you're gonna know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, bro, it took me six months to like really make that decision. So I was like pretty sure. And at the time, I left in July of 2021, and year to date, from January to July, we had already done $1 million in revenue in my business. And I'm still working. So it was
I feel you.
You know what I mean? It's like I started making more money in my side hustle than I did in my job. So
it's funny you bring that up because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about, as well as I think we're going to be able to like tie it up pretty well, because I think what we last left on was you got 51% and you needed to take this company to the next level. You wanted to sell it.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming that this is around the same time of you working, I guess, on your second year for Grant, and then it about to take off, or at what point was
So
that?
the timeline there was I sold the business after a month working for Grant. I got it back after 4 months of working for Grant. So basically 4 months into working with Grant was when this new business was born.
Okay.
So I basically spent a year and 8 months on Beyond Braid by itself before I ever quit and did that full time. So a lot of people don't get that, dude. Like they have a job, they're like, I want to quit my 9 to 5 and work for myself. But like, bro, I did that for 2 years. I worked 15, 16, 17-hour days for 2 years, every single day. And the weekends too. There were some weekends where I had off, but there was other weekends where I had to work for Grant too, because we had events and stuff and I had to travel. And like the business still needs to run, so like I had to find time just to make it work, look at the ads,
it's
make sure inventory.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, dude, it was hard. So finally there was just a breaking point where I was like, I can't do both anymore. And I'm not going to close down the business. So
you mentioned that you were making more in the business than your job. So if you don't mind me asking, and this is something I want to get into with you as well, because in my opinion, I think that people should be more comfortable asking this question, because a lot of times within conversation, out of respect, you tell someone, oh, how much do you make, or how much did you make, if you don't mind me asking. In my opinion, I don't think we should remove the if you don't mind me asking, because we should help each other out. And if you're making more than me, I should want to know why, and I should want to know how. And like if you're willing to, then we can have that conversation. So if you don't mind me asking, like how much were you making with Grant, and then how much were you making with the business at the time when you made the decision?
So it's funny you say that, because my job working for Grant was a kind of uncomfortable job, where the first question we would ask people is, how liquid are you? Which is a very weird question to ask. Like, how much cash do you have in the bank? So I got very used to talking about big numbers and how much money do you have, what's your net worth. So that stuff comes super easy to me. Like, I don't mind when people ask me how much do you make or how much money you have, because like I did that literally for 2 years. And dude, you shouldn't be embarrassed to talk about that stuff, because if you're making a little bit of money, you should put it out in the world so you can make more money. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
For Grant, see, this is where I don't know if because there's a little situation where I'm not sure how much I can say about working for Grant, but it's fine, whatever. It's probably public knowledge, bro. The starting salary was 55 grand, and then you get a bonus of anywhere from 20 to 30 grand.
Well, if it helps them out, this can change, so maybe it's changed.
Yeah, maybe they make more, whatever. Maybe they make less. So and then the second year, I got a raise to 75,000. Basically, my salary was 75 grand, and there were some commissions from other stuff we got to sell.
That's net or gross? 75?
Gross.
Okay.
Yeah, so like the paycheck was 6,100, but a month, but I would take home 4,800, right, after taxes. So
that's a good job to have because the thing what's more valuable that I'm sure you can you'd relate to is what you learned and the people that you connected with and speaking 100%. With those.
I would see the money hit my bank account from the job, and I would just like it wouldn't make a difference because I still lived at home. I didn't really have too many expenses. So the primary reason I was there was to learn, and I reminded myself that every day. It's like, why are you here? You don't need the money. You're learning. And like I could have, if it was just a regular job, like working a car salesman job. Excuse me. No offense to car salesmen, because my dad's a car salesman, but like I'm not probably learning as much there, so it would have been really easy to make that decision to leave in the beginning, whereas I had access to so many people, so much information, just so much valuable stuff that I was like, it was hard to let go of, But at the end of the day, I asked myself this question, like, if I want to grow and continue to make money and live this better life, I can't do it stuck in this job because it's kind of holding me back. Like, my vision one day is to own $100 million of real estate, have this big business. I can't do that being tied down to this job. So eventually you just have to close your eyes and take the leap of faith. Because worst case, if the business failed, I could probably go back and find a job somewhere else.
Right.
That was always my worst case.
Yeah, that's how I just like pretty much lived life as well. After college, I told myself, I'm going to go and figure it out. I'm going to start businesses. I'm going to make some moves. I'm going to try everything out and learn, because at the end of the day, if I fail, I can always go back to school when I'm 25 or when I'm 28 or when I'm 30 years old. I can always go back and get a degree if I want to do that. But the time to go and figure it out and find like just new information is now. I felt like in high school, college becomes an extension of high school in a way,
kind of,
especially when you're a student athlete.
Yeah. Because
if you're just a student, you definitely get a lot more freedom in college as opposed to high school. But if you're a student athlete, you're living the same lifestyle. So I got so tired of that, and when I stopped playing baseball, I had to get away from school because I was just learning constantly the same boring concepts, and I'm just like, I actually did get my real estate license, but I loved real estate, and I wanted to get into real estate investing, but of course, at the time, I don't have anywhere near the money.
Real estate investing is not the poor man's game, bro. To do real estate investing right, you need to have money. Like, there's a lot of people on the internet.
Oh yeah, no, definitely
doing the whole no money down. But yes, is it possible? For sure. Right. But it's not like what everyone envisioned. Like, there's this dude named Pace Morby. I think he's got $300 million of real estate, and a lot of the stuff he does is no money down, or it's called subject to, but it's very different. Like, he's calling on distressed homeowners and basically just saying, hey, let me take over your payments before you lose the property. So it's almost, that's like not even a real estate game. That's like sales.
It's almost like a lien.
You have to make 100 calls a day to get someone to do that. Like, a lot of people, a real estate agent, and I don't know if you went through this or not. Like, my mom and my brother just became an agent, and they're struggling because they're just dealing with buyers, and they're like, oh, we'll keep wasting time with these people. And I keep trying to tell them, you just need to get listings. Because to make money as a real estate agent, you get listings. Because when you get listings, people come to you. But what people don't get about listings is you have to sit there and either make 100 phone calls or go around your neighborhood and door knock and meet people and talk to people who are potential sellers to get listings. And the ordinary person doesn't want to do that. They don't want to sit there and make 100 calls, or they don't have the skills to. So I think real estate, it's not about selling homes. It's about selling yourself to people to get listings. That's the people who are best in the industry. They do that the best.
It is, yeah. I would definitely, being a realtor with my experience, a listing agent is so much better than a buyer's agent. I mean, if you're going to be a buyer's agent, just make sure they're pre-qualified. Like,
Yeah.
That's step one. That's obvious. But then you never know. Like, you could show them so many houses and waste so much of your time, and if they don't want to pull the trigger, they're not going to pull the trigger.
That's what my mom's dealing with. My mom is working for Corcoran and Surfside, which is a great neighborhood in Miami. A lot of Jewish people, a lot of money. She has a lot of good buyers with a lot of money, but they're just not buying. So she's spending all this time wasting it with these people, where if she took that same amount of effort and just sat there and made 100 calls a day, she'll get someone around here to say, yes, list my house. And then when you have the listing, it goes out to the entire country and people start calling you saying, I want to buy this house. So that's just my 2 cents on being a realtor. But I'm not a realtor, so I guess I can't talk.
Yeah, it's a whole nother game. It's definitely a hustle within itself. It's a lot about networking and building relationships, and it's not as easy as people make it seem, but we are in a great city for it. That's what I will say. That's why I got into it, is because like it is all about connections, and I would say I'm pretty well connected, especially in that real estate world. So I wanted to get more involved, and I learned a lot, but then I started my own company, so I moved away from that. But real estate is definitely something that will always be and hold value. So definitely
100%.
not knocking real estate. And I agree with what you say, though, because a lot of times the 0% down, like put as least amount down as possible. Like it is possible to do that, but it's not smart.
It's hard to like really make, like, dude, like I learned the real estate game, like the big real estate game, like buying 150 million, $200 million properties. And to buy those deals, you need to put down the equity.
Exactly.
All Grant's properties, he's putting down at least, especially now, 25, 30, 35%. And on $100 million or $200 million property, that's 30 to 65 million. Now, where the game gets interesting is your ability to raise money from other people and not use your own money. Yes, that's a different story. But in order to do that, you need to know the real estate industry in and out. Like I have a buddy who I worked with at Grant who left as well, just did his first deal in Daytona. It's 55 units, paid $8.5 million, and he raised the money. But he knows real estate like the back of his hand. Like he's a true professional. So like and he worked for Grant for 3 years too. So he knows the in and out. So unless you're like that level of an expert, that's like the only way you can get into it with very little money. But if you just want to go out and buy real estate yourself, you need to have some sort of high income, a business, a job that you're making a lot of money, that you have a lot of extra money to put into real estate. If it's your last dollar, don't put it into real estate because it's not smart.
Yeah, and as a realtor, when I have someone that wants to buy a property, the first question I ask them, similar to you, is how much are you willing to put down? Because that is the biggest question. Like you don't understand the numbers and the concept of real estate unless you know how much you can put down.
Yeah.
Because even when my brother and I were looking for a duplex, you start to realize that you can find great deals, but you can always, if you have liquid, if you have money available, the more you put down, the less the monthly payment is, and that's key in real estate. When it comes to finding a tenant,
it's less risky. It's less risky for you as the owner. The more you put down, it's technically less risky for you.
Give me 1 second. The light's like flickering real quick.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna say something. Technical difficulties. Boom. Yeah. Do real estate. Look, to me, real estate is the greatest investment there is. That's what I want to do long term. I just need to make more money, so I have more money to invest in real estate. Period.
Exactly.
Period. Simple. That's it.
Exactly. Or just have somebody that you trust, like my brother, for example. If you have someone with you and you can split it 50-50,
yeah,
you can get moving faster. But
yeah, that's what I own an Airbnb in the Keys. It was $525,000. My buddy who I just told you about, who did the $8 million deal, we went into that investment together. So all in, I think we're in like $100,000 each. but we're both doing it, so it's less risky and it's conservative and it's doing well. So
Yeah, I mean that's where it's at. That's a whole nother thing. Airbnb. That's another thing that we're gonna get into. But when it comes to, so let's go back to what sparked for you. Like, what made you when you got 51% and you wanted to sell it? What changed for you? Like, was there a game changer that exploded sales?
okay, yes. The biggest thing that I learned, and this kind of happened back when I was in Boonville, when I in summer ball, was I learned marketing and Facebook ads and how to like really fine tune that stuff and make it work. And the biggest thing that changed was I put myself in front of the camera and started making the video ads myself. So
Did you learn through Google, YouTube?
I
Was
just
there a
learned by
class?
doing it. I literally, the first video I ever made, I'll show you. I literally took a stack of books and leaned, like, put my phone, I made like a makeshift tripod, and I just said, here, I'm gonna film myself and I'm gonna talk about the fishing line. And the
You know
video,
what's funny? That's exactly how episode 1 was recorded. That is scrapped.
yeah,
for
bro,
the
you
Miami
just,
Hustle. So,
you
a stack of
learn,
books.
you learn by just doing it. And that's what a lot of people, I think that's one thing I'm very gifted at, is like, I'm willing to just try something or try anything and see if it works or not. And a lot of people, when they start a new business, they think way too much and they get analysis paralysis. They just don't do anything. Whereas like I'm very good at it, but it can also be a detriment to me because I've tried so many things and I get distracted. So like, rather than focusing on my main business that makes a lot of money, I do a lot of side shit, like trying to sell courses or sell this other brand, you know what I mean? So in some ways it could affect me negatively, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it for anything because I'd much rather be in the position to try something, and what if it turns into something big, than never trying it at all. So like right now, pickleball is blowing up. I decided to start a pickleball brand.
Nice.
And that's something I truly believe in because I see the sports growing. I play it, it's fun. So I think there's a market for it. So I literally have my first order of paddles coming in like next month.
Nice.
Shout out Professor Pickleball. That's what it's called. But yeah, dude, it's just like things like your life is never going to change and your business is never going to change. You're never going to make more money if you don't try something and change. Like you're trying something new. You're making this podcast. This could be the next big thing for you.
Well,
and it could change your life.
Shout out to you, because I remember this was in the works. So this, of course, it starts with an idea, and then you start looking into the investment, you start looking into the other things. This was about to, like, I was in the phase of like about to make it happen when you had posted a video and you're like, in 2023, if you're gonna do anything, just post some videos and make some content. I'm like, I watched that and I was like, I feel you,
dude.
I'm
It's
like,
that's the number one thing people are scared to do, is get in front of a camera because they're scared people are gonna judge them. They're gonna look stupid on, bro. The first 400 videos I made, I still think I look like an idiot.
well,
but
shout out to you again, because I saw another video that you posted where you were in public and you were saying exactly that. You're holding the phone and you're just in the crowd. And what I noticed, it's so funny, because and I can relate, when you hold the phone and you're in a crowd and you're doing a selfie pose, recording a video, you probably think, and you're tall, so you probably think that everyone's looking at you like, wow, this guy's crazy.
And that's what it feels like.
It feels like that. But in reality, I watched everyone in the background. Bro, I didn't see not one person look at you, and if they did, they maybe glanced at you for like a second.
Dude, and they don't, like, no one and I think in that video I said no one cares about you. Exactly. So like at the end of the day, there's so much content out right now, like, bro, just makes like the upside to the downside. There's so much greater upside to making content than the downside. Like, what if you make 100 episodes of this podcast and nothing happens? Worst case, you learned how to do a podcast, you learned about content, you got better interviewing skills, you gained a whole lot. And that's if it did nothing. Best case, it blows up, you get 3 million subscribers on YouTube, you're making $2 million a year from YouTube ad revenue, you got brand deals, you're meeting the Nelk boys and Logan Paul. That's like the best case scenario, and your life changed. So and that all just started from you making a decision let me get in front of a camera and just try this.
And it's funny because like it's very relevant to a post on Instagram. People post on Instagram and they think that people are judging them so hard, when in reality, most people looked at the video for maybe a second, maybe two, and kept scrolling. And if they're
not going to remember it anyways.
Yeah, and if they actually started judging you, the algorithm is already in your favor because they're constantly watching the video as they judge you.
Yeah, bro, it's just like I think I'm lucky to be at a point where I can seriously give two shits what people think, because
that's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Everyone should
obviously, right? There's the only time I care what people think about me is if it's someone who's more successful than me, and they maybe judge a decision I made in business or something like that. But like, if you're like my friend from high school that you're not doing shit with your life and you're just going about your day and you're talking shit about me, which I have friends that still do, like, I literally can give two shits. Like, it literally breezes over my mind, which is, I think you're kind of born with something like that, because some people just care, they do, and you just have to kind of learn not to with reps. Anything is reps, bro. The more you just do something, the better you're gonna get at it. So
yeah, definitely. And I remember you were saying that in New York is where you learned how to do the ads. Like the video, I know it just kind of was a thing where it just takes time and just keep doing it. Don't be scared. But when it comes to the learning about ad revenue and how much you could make on YouTube and how much you could make off of sales and Spotify and this and that, were you just Googling stuff or were you YouTubing it? Did you buy a course? Like, how did you even become knowledgeable on that side? Because that's something that I need to get better at.
Yeah, so how I started the dropshipping business, my cousin bought a course for $500. He gave me access to it for free. So I basically learned I learned the foundation of my multi-million-dollar business from a $500 course someone gave me.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. The rest of the stuff I would say I just learned from YouTube. There's tons of people selling courses right now, but you don't even have to join their course to learn something, because there's a sales funnel. It's a webinar sales funnel. So essentially, I actually tried this. I created a dropshipping course, basically how to do exactly what I did. And what I did was I ran Facebook ads of my videos saying, hey, I started this company Beyond Braid. We did $3 million in sales last year. If you want to learn exactly how I did it, click the link below and go watch this video. So on that next page, it's a sales page, I have a video explaining the business model, and then why you should buy my course, showing you the business model. But what most people don't do, if you just watch that sales page, you can learn a lot. And I did that. Like, I watched so many people's webinars trying to sell me a product, but instead of buying the product, I took the long way and just watched people's webinar, because there's still information, free information there. I'm cheap. I never bought a course. I just never did. I would have probably gotten to where I wanted to be a lot faster. Courses are great. Like, if you find someone who you actually trust and you think they have valuable information, courses are literally the shortcut to where you want to go to get the information faster. Instead of looking on YouTube for 2 months, you can get it all in the next 2 days, you know?
Yeah, and then also back to school. I mean, school costs probably the same. If you go to Dade, you're going to pay for a $300, $500 class. You could buy a course and learn more information or more valuable information, possibly within a month.
People are so, like, we're so ingrained to just want to get $100,000 in debt to go to college, where, like, if you took $100,000 and found people who are doing what you want to do. So let's say, right, being a realtor was your absolute dream. If you took $100,000 and went to the top realtor in Miami and say, I will pay you $100,000, teach me exactly what you know, and you spend a year with that person, you will be in a million times better position and making way more money than if you spent that $100,000 on college.
You sound just like me, because
you don't get skills in college. In the real world, you get skills. And from people's online courses who are teaching a specific skill, you get skills. College teaches you how to do your own fucking laundry and cook for yourself.
Yeah.
And how to be social. It doesn't teach you skills to make money. It's fucking crazy.
I was telling my parents a couple months ago that I think it would be more valuable for someone, once they graduate from high school, they have two roads that they could take. Instead of giving someone $40,000 to $50,000 of student loan just debt, just like that, so easily, an 18-year-old, like, here you go. why don't you teach? Well, first of all, if you want to like go back, I think every single senior in high school should, not an elective, they should have a class about credit and a class about
personal finance.
Exactly.
They don't teach you that.
Exactly.
That was
Finance
the one
and credit.
I had personal finance. I think it was my junior year when I had already been running my businesses for a while. So like I knew about all that stuff. A lot of it was a review of what I pretty much knew, but it was like the only class that I can see how other people can get value out of it, because it was like how to pay tax, how the tax system works, how tax brackets work,
So valuable.
how to make a profit and loss
These are things
statement.
that you need to know.
Which these are things that I learned on my own. It was natural, but like other people were like mind blown. But that's like real world information.
Well, one thing about
is
I
good.
think one of the issues maybe
I just went to a shitty college, but I'm pretty sure all colleges
this is interesting
teach the same shit.
I haven't had this thought before, so I'm just gonna share it with you now. Maybe it's the situation that we're in as a whole in Miami, where most people are from immigrant parents. So when you have an immigrant parent and they come to the country for their child, they aren't able to tell them how credit works as much or financial stuff, because they just got here a couple years ago trying to make it, you know.
Yeah, but
So,
I think that is probably true for us local in Miami, but I think this problem that we just explained is nationwide.
well, the reason why I mentioned Miami, it is nationwide. I mentioned Miami because maybe I'm thinking like people would think, oh no, you don't have to have a class in high school of credit because your parents should teach you that. That's where in my defense, I'll be like, look, some people's parents don't have the ability to teach their children about credit or finances. So what I was saying is, if you give someone information about credit and finances and now they graduate, they could choose to go to college, or they can choose to have $50,000 to dump it in a business, go try to be in debt $50,000, but you're working towards a business. And by the way, if you spend $50,000 on a business, this has potential to be a big time business. That's not just a little like a degree.
Yeah, bro.
So,
and like $50,000, like, dude, I started my drop shipping businesses with like $300, bro, and it's turned into this. Like that's
so 50,000 is a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot of money.
A lot of moves.
Probably a lot more money than anyone needs to. Like, you can start any business today with an iPhone.
Yeah,
and $500, bro. Like, just you have to. You need to know the skills. If you don't have skills, you ain't gonna do shit. You need to learn the skills of how to start these businesses.
Yeah, so going back to skills, you said that you learned how to make videos and ads and all that. Was that what got you? Because I know you have a YouTube channel that has to do with cooking meats as well. Did that get incorporated into what you learned, or you learned all that so you started cooking meat because you're like, hey, if I just cook meat and put a camera in front of it, so get something going?
So I have a cooking YouTube channel called Ryan Maya Cooks that has 24,000 subscribers.
That is not easy to do.
And I haven't posted a video.
24,000.
So it's crazy. So I started that in college because that's when I learned about YouTube.
Interesting.
That's when I learned about YouTube and YouTube being a real business, because I watched a video from Graham Stephan. He's a big YouTuber in the finance space, and he basically said how he made $2 million that year from YouTube videos. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, just posting videos. So I was like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. What I want to do, I like to cook. So I started this cooking channel. The first video I ever made was with my iPhone in my backyard on a barbecue. How to cook a New York strip steak. Shitty quality, shitty editing.
This is just because this is something you love to do.
Yeah, this is just something I wanted to just do and try, right? Going back to just trying something. So I did that, and I was like, all right. I did another video with an iPhone. I was like, all right, let me buy a camera. So I bought my first camera, bought my first tripod, my first microphone. So I did that for probably like 3 months, going hard, like 2 videos a week, which it takes a lot of time. This is where it would take me literally like 2 days to edit a simple 5-minute video, where now I can do that same video in 20 minutes. But it's skills. These are things I learned. So I stopped doing it after a while because I wasn't seeing any traction. And I think I made like 30 videos, and I was just like, I had started working for Grant, right? So things just got busy. A few months later, that first video I ever posted, the shitty one with the shitty quality of the steak, decides to blow up. It ranked in YouTube search because it was a search-based video, how to cook a steak. So think about it.
Okay.
YouTube is the second biggest search engine compared to Google, or aside from Google. So when you need to learn how to do something, you probably go to YouTube, how to change my bike tire, right?
Yeah, always.
So that video ranked in YouTube's algorithm, ranked in search, and started blowing up. it started getting 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 views.
So an accidental blow up.
Yeah. And my channel got more than 1,000 subscribers. It got more than 1,000 watch hours.
So that one video made them want to subscribe. Like, that's crazy because I see all
it's
the
just
time.
so many people are watching it that so many people are bound to subscribe. That's just the nature of the game. So long story short, that one video monetized the channel. As soon as I got 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 watch hours, you can turn on monetization, which means when you get views, YouTube pays you. Fast forward till today, that video has 2.3 million views. It's made over $15,000.
Is your face even on it?
My face is not even on it. It's made $15,000. It still gets views every single day. Like right now, it makes money every day. And that inspired me to make a few more videos here and there. And I made I had other videos, but 3 other videos that did really well, that did the same thing. I posted them, they didn't do shit for months, and then they blew up in the search, was how to cook a New York strips, another how to cook a New York steak strip, strip steak, I can't even talk. And then another video, how to cook a steak in a cast iron pan. And one of those videos has like 1.7 million views. The other one has like 1.5 million views.
Wow.
And that YouTube channel, I haven't posted there in months, makes $1,000 a month just from those videos ranking in search and people constantly searching how to cook this steak. So YouTube is a crazy game if you could do it right.
So that video, so it's not even that channel, it's those specific videos make you that much each month
well,
because of how consistently they get
channel. They're on the channel, right? But those are the 3 videos getting the most views every month, which lead to the certain the certain amount of revenue being generated, because almost all the revenue is coming from those 3 videos, which still get views every single day. Like, dude, $1,000 bucks
with no marketing. You're just
no, it's just YouTube.
So what if you blow that post or those 3 videos up with like a crazy amount of marketing dollars behind those 3 to make it like?
You don't need to. Like,
wouldn't it make?
I've seen people run YouTube ads to their YouTube channel to try and grow it, but the way the YouTube algorithm works, it's like, once you get a search-based video to rank, like if you go type in how to cook a steak, how to cook a New York strip steak, mine will be like the 3rd one that pops up. So it's there. So I don't need to spend marketing dollars on it.
They do that for you, basically.
Yeah, because it's had so many views, it's had a certain click-through rate. YouTube is based on 3 things. Click-through rate, so how many times people are seeing it and then clicking on it, and then how long people are actually watching the video. So as long as it's called your CTR, click-through rate, and then your retention. So how long people watch the video for. Like, are they watching 70% of your video? Are they watching 50%? Are they watching it for 10 seconds and then clicking off?
And you have all those analytics behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Yeah. So if you want to get good at YouTube, just get people to click on your video and get people to watch the whole entire video. That's the secret formula to YouTube.
Does it have to be people that are logged into their YouTube account, or it could be
No, anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
In order for them to like comment or like,
Gotcha.
they have to have an account.
Nice.
Yeah, YouTube's
tell me
crazy.
about
YouTube's crazy.
The day that you randomly blew up, I guess, like with that steak video, did you get an email? Like, how did you know? Did you randomly check on it? Like,
yeah, I randomly checked on it. I was like, why does this video have so many views? And then like I went into the analytics, and it's like,
you randomly checked on it. What was it at that moment?
I don't even remember, bro. I just know that it had like a huge. I think it was like 30,000 views.
Okay.
And it just had like a random spike. But again, dude, I don't. My main focus for YouTube right now is my personal brand channel, which is just Ryan Maya, where I talk about things we're talking about: e-commerce, business, real estate. I don't make cooking videos anymore. I'm actively posting 1 to 2 times a week on my personal YouTube channel. I have 15,000 subscribers there now.
15,000 on your Ryan Maya page?
Yeah,
channel?
Bro, I'm famous. You didn't know?
Wow, yeah.
No.
That's crazy.
So, and on that channel,
15,000. How do you get 15,000 subscribers from zero? Like, how?
So,
is there a strategy?
No, there is a strategy, but you just got to start posting videos. That's the first thing you have to do. I think I posted videos for a whole year before I saw any sort of traction, like a few hundred subscribers.
Like a video a week or more?
Yeah, just start 1 video a week. A 5 to 10 minute video. A good strategy is pick a niche. So let's say you want to talk about business. 1 video a week answering a specific question. How to make money selling products online. How to do your tax return. How to save money on taxes.
Those how-tos.
Yeah, that's those are just simple ways. But I basically made this drop shipping course that I was gonna sell. I actually did sell it. I did that whole business model, and I was charging $1,000 for it. I sold it, I think, like 6 or 7 times, but I had spent a few $1,000s on ads, so
Nice.
it basically broke even. But it took a lot more time and effort than I anticipated it taking, and it was taking away time from my main business. So I stopped doing it. And then after like a few months, or I think it was like a whole year, I remembered, I'm like, I have this freaking dropshipping course just sitting there. It's 7.5 hours of footage. It's like, why don't I just post it on YouTube? Like, I really went back and forth. So I was like, maybe I'll start the course again and start selling it because it could be big. I was like, I don't have time. So I was like, let me just post it on YouTube. And I posted a 7-hour video on YouTube, which is very different than most of the 5-10 minute videos you see. And that video blew up on my channel. So I think right now it has like 300,000 views in just a couple months. And
Are there any
it makes a lot of money because it's in the business niche, and YouTube pays a lot of money for the business niche. Like a few months ago, I made $5,000 on my channel just from YouTube AdSense, which is the views you get on YouTube just from posting the video. I made $5,000. It's crazy.
Is there a strategy of like tagging certain things or making hashtags? Does that help, or is it more of just description, title, post?
YouTube has a section for hashtags, but it's completely irrelevant.
Okay.
What makes a YouTube video blow up is that the topic of the video is actually interesting, meaning someone will they'll see it on their feed and they're like, wow, I actually want to watch that video. That's an interesting topic.
Who judges the topic? Is that part of the algorithm? Like,
no, like
the
just
title, or?
This is like a very like literal thing. Like the topic, the idea of the video, it's a good video. Like how to watch grass grow is a very boring video,
Right.
But how I started a $10 million business from my parents' bedroom, that's a pretty interesting topic. People would want to click on that. You see what I mean?
Gotcha.
So your topic, the idea of the video is good, so people are naturally interested. Your title is intriguing, right? So like what I just said, how I started a $10 million business out of my bedroom, that's something intriguing that people want to click on. And then the thumbnail, which is that picture that you see, is also intriguing, makes someone want to click. Because people have thumbnails where it's just like a portion of the video where like this could be the thumbnail of this video, which is like, it doesn't mean anything, where like you can edit the image and put like, 26-year-old millionaire. That's more interesting. You know what I mean? So thumbnail, title, and the idea of the video is kind of the main formula to make your YouTube videos blow up. And then just being consistent, because you can have all those and they still don't work. Like, dude, I'm trying every day, bro. Like, I was telling you before, I have so many ups and downs with YouTube, but I just know the long-term vision for it. And like, if you actually blow up on YouTube, the difference in your life it's going to make between the monetary side, how much money you can make, the connections and opportunities and people you'll meet from other people knowing your name. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm such a fan of YouTube.
Same. I definitely am, but I haven't jumped into that side of it. So for everyone, listening and watching, I'm sure this will be extremely valuable because it is for me. So now I'm going to start getting into questions that I'm just curious and I want to know, especially while I create this Miami Hustle YouTube channel, Spotify, Rumble, all platforms. I've never done this before, but I'm going to learn on how to generate money and the what to do, the what not to do. So let's just get into my first question would be, for example, monetizing. So you said that I didn't even know that you needed a certain amount of views and subscribers. You mentioned it's 1,000.
So it's 1,000. They changed it. So it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
Okay.
So basically, for a podcast style, it'll be easy for you because it's longer form. So people are going to be watching longer. For people with normal 5-minute, 10-minute videos, you need a lot more views. So like, if you get, let's say this video is an hour long, you get 4,000 people to watch it, the whole video, that's 4,000 watch hours right there, which is pretty easy.
Got you. Okay. So
once you do that, you can then, there's a little tab on YouTube that says monetization, turn on. Once you meet those there's 2 little check boxes they give you. Once you're green, you literally turn it on, and then every video viewed from there on forward makes money.
Perfect. That was my next question. You just answered it before I asked it. So now you turn the switch on, you're monetized. talk to me about that experience from like the before to the after. What changes? Like, how do you even something as simple as like now I'm monetized so I could make money off of this?
Yeah.
Let's say I had that 30,000 video like you. Where does the money come from? Is it an email? Is it a what type of notification? Is it every week? Is it every month?
So YouTube pays once a month. I think it's on the 20th from your previous month's views. How they actually, where the money comes from. So you click on a YouTube video, there's a YouTube ad, right? So beyond Braid, me as a business owner, we advertise on YouTube. So we have to pay to show those videos, our ad to people. So YouTube collects the money from business owners, advertisers. Ooh, that's a B.
Are you allergic to bees?
No, I'm just saying.
Do you care?
No.
I don't care. So yeah, we're good.
So YouTube collects the money from advertisers, and then they do a revenue split with you. So depending on what niche you're making content about, depends on how much money you actually make. So there's a couple metrics called CPM and RPM, revenue per 1,000 views. So on a channel like my personal brand, my Shopify course, I think my RPM, which is how much money I make per 1,000 views, was like $50, which is very high. Where on the cooking channel, my RPM, revenue per 1,000 views, is like $4. So typically anything in the finance, business, e-commerce, stock market, real estate niche pays you more because companies like banks and like Robinhood and TD Ameritrade will advertise on those videos, and they're willing to pay more for a customer than like a Target ad on just a general video.
Does YouTube do all of that behind the scenes for you?
Yeah. So as long as you pick your you literally just post a video, and depending on your topic, that's how they monetize it. So like, I don't have to choose my channel is business or finance. Like I have some videos that I made about a different topic that make less money than
so they kind of decide what topic you are
they know
and how much you make,
they know based
basically.
off the title and the content that's in the video. It's dude, YouTube is crazy. The reason I forgot to mention this, the reason I got so big into YouTube and content was I saw this all working for Grant because Grant was so into it. And what he constantly preached was if people don't know who you are, they can't do business with you. So by you not making content and you not blowing yourself up, there's a good chance you're going to stay broke and your businesses aren't going to be successful. The reason Grant is so successful with Cardone Capital and he's raised $1 billion of cash from Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Why? Because he has millions of followers. Think about it. If he never made a piece of content, no one would know him. All of our investors were random people from social media.
Even something like selling a book.
Bro, selling a book, selling anything, right? You can run ads, but that can only get you so far. So for a personal brand or any business, if you can make content that reaches millions of people, more people will know who you are. And that will lead to more opportunities coming your way for business. So if you're a realtor in Miami and you have an Instagram account with 500,000 followers talking about real estate in Instagram, talking about real estate in Miami, you're going to get a lot of inbound leads of people wanting to work with you because they just know your name and they know that you're a realtor in Miami. So Grant used to say this, if people don't know you, they can't flow you. They can't spend money with you. They can't do business with you. So that's one thing that always sticks with me is like, I need to force myself to become famous because that will put me in a better business opportunity or better business situation, and I'll make more money. Grant made that decision for himself. In 2010, he said it. He was worth like $8-10 million from his businesses that he was doing his whole life. And he basically went from being worth $10 million to $2 billion in 12 years because he said, I made the conscious decision that I'm going to blow myself up, make myself famous. And he goes, I want everyone in the business space to know who Grant Cardone is so they do business with me. And that's the route I'm taking. It's hard. It's not fucking, he's been doing it for 12 years. That's what people don't see, bro. He probably did it for like 8 years consistently before he actually started seeing like real traction. When I started working for him, I think he only had like 800,000 followers, which is still a lot. But by the time I left, he had 3 million. You know what I mean? So he just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, everything takes time, definitely. And
especially content.
Like we talked about off camera, When it comes to, I mean, someone like Grant Cardone, he's been doing it for 12 years, but Grant Cardone is a household name, I would say, when it comes to business. Like, everyone knows
Now,
what he does, and
not
who he
10
is.
years ago.
Exactly. So what I like about videos is it's like planting seeds, how we spoke about earlier. You can post 100 videos. You just planted 100 seeds.
Dude, it's like the cooking video. That was a
Exactly.
seed I planted 4 years. I filmed that video 4 years ago, and it still pays me today. That's the
Yeah.
thing about YouTube. Once you post a video, it's on there forever.
Exactly.
Forever.
Yeah.
And as long as people are interested in cooking steaks, I think that video will make money forever.
Yeah, that's what I love about this channel as well. Like, the Miami Hustle is going to be something where it's going to be around when I'm like 20 years from now, 30 years from now. It's still going to be an archive of videos having good quality conversations. And now, if you, let's say in a couple months or next year, you sell your business for $150 million,
Hopefully.
you're going to come
Knock
back
on wood.
here. You're going to talk about your story and
Yeah.
how you did it. And we're going to be able to see that. So just to be able to save all of this, and then, you know, like we talked about, have seeds to just post and see what happens. I feel like it's everyone should do it. Like,
That's like, bro, I watched a podcast of Impulsive yesterday with Dave Portnoy from Barstool. And he's like, bro, I've been doing this. Dave was like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I just got my payday this year because he sold this stake to Penn Gaming for he got $100 million basically, his share. But he's like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I just got a payday. He's like, he was one of the original content creators, and he was doing it for 20 years and just got his payday. Obviously, the past few years he was making good money, but to actually sell for 9 figures, that was the real payday. But it took 20 years.
it takes time, man.
And I'm the same way. I get so impatient and like frustrated sometimes on my own YouTube channel because like I'll post it, like the most recent video I posted was like 3 weeks ago. I posted once or twice a week for the past year and a half. And the last 2 weeks I got really busy because I had to go to Walmart and just some other stuff happening in the business. But that most recent video I posted fucking flopped, bro. Like, it got like 200 views. And I guess it was just a bad video. And it's just part of the game. Like,
That same video could take off in 2 months.
That one I doubt, because I guess it was just a bad video. You never know.
Yeah, you never
know. But today I filmed another video that I felt good about, and it's just over and over until you get it, bro. Like with any, it's like with business, it's with YouTube, it's with pitching, right? Like, I sucked for 2 years until finally something just clicked one day, and the whole world just changed. But you had to stay consistent with it for 2 years of sucking absolute dick to be good, you know?
Yeah. So now, how do you balance the creating content with selling the fishing line? Or is it something where it's like selling has become more of an automatic flow where you automated the process, I'm assuming? And if you want to speak a little bit about how you did that, because I don't know if I know we got into it a little bit off camera, but when it comes to how you're able to fulfill all these orders, like let's say you get 300 orders in one day, do you physically get 300 fishing line, like go to the FedEx and drop it off, or like, how does that happen?
So as the business grew, right, you have to hire people. So right now, including myself, I think we have 10 people, 3 full-time, and the rest are contractors. So like whether it's an ad agency, an email marketing person, a shipping. So I have a shipping team that they're not full-time my employees, but I still pay them. Like last month, my bill was $29,000. So I'm definitely paying them.
For the month?
For the month.
Wow.
Yeah, so that charge includes their fee. So they're called a 3PL, a third-party logistics business. So they're essentially a warehouse. They're a warehouse company that you send their products to. You integrate your softwares. So like my Shopify backend, which is where I have my store, my Amazon, my eBay. It's all integrated with the shipping system. If you go on there, you place an order, it goes to the shipping system, and then tomorrow morning, they print out all of my orders, they pick them off the shelves, they put them in the thing, and they ship them. So that's their main job, right?
I'm assuming the more you sell, the higher the expenses? Is that
yeah, so the more I sell, right, the more I'm going to pay in shipping, and they charge a standard pick and pack fee. So it's like $1.50 to pick and put it in the thing, plus the shipping cost $3, right? So That's just a standard example. The more volume I do, the less my pick and pack fee is. So it can go all the way down to like $1 if I do 10,000 orders a month, let's say. So that's how that side's automated. But the whole right now, I still do a lot for the business, but a lot less than I used to. Like I used to do all the Facebook ads. I used to do all the social media posting myself. I used to do all the video editing.
And now you hired people
email,
for that?
Yeah. So now I have
salary, or is that the same thing where it's like depending on how the month
both.
goes?
So our social media guy has a salary. He runs all our social media channels in terms of posting, reaching out to influencers, answering DMs, because we have over 200,000 followers on all platforms. So like 70,000 on TikTok, 65,000 on Instagram. And it's a lot. It's a lot of DMs and comments to respond to. So that's his job. I have a full-time salesperson who his job is just to focus on getting wholesale accounts. So local bait and tackle stores, other big businesses, etc. We have an email marketing person that just focuses on making emails and email automation and email blasts for the month. Then we have another person who just focuses on Facebook ads, so testing new ads, TikTok ads, Google ads. They're an agency that specifically does that.
I just want to emphasize the reinvesting in yourself and in your brand and in your company as you grow.
You have to. Yeah, you have to, or else you won't grow.
Exactly. Some people get into business because they want to see money. So let's say you make $10,000. Some people will be extremely happy with that, want to cash out and have a great time. But in reality, you should only see maybe 2,000 of that 10,000 because you need to reinvest the 8,000 to continue the
especially flow. With a physical product-based business, because you're constantly having to buy inventory and then more inventory if you're going to keep growing. So like we've grown. So the first year we did 800,000 when we started April 2020. So right in the middle of COVID. That 8 months we did 850,000. 2021 we did 2.2 million, and then 2022 we did 3.2 million. So each year each month we're having to buy more inventory, which basically most of our profit goes into buying more inventory so we can sell more and make more revenue. So yes, don't get me wrong, we're making money. I'm still paying myself a salary and distributions, but what's reflected on our bottom line P&L of profit of the business is not what's going into my pocket, because a lot of that money has to go into buying inventory, buying gear.
You gotta love the hustle and the
grind. Bro, it's
nonstop.
It's super cool, dude, because like I am actually my own boss, and it's really cool. There's pros and cons.
Shout out to Grant Cardone, because I feel like he taught you a lot of that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I learned a lot from Grant. Not really much of the e-commerce stuff. I would say more just finance.
But I think you were mentally prepared to handle such a big business.
Finance, life, and mentality is what I was going to say, because the mentality that they teach is grow. It's 10x, right? That's his thing. 10x basically means do and grow 10x more than you ever thought you could. And a lot of people have small mindsets, and it's not their fault. They're just born with it, or they were raised in that environment where working for someone like this and being exposed and seeing how much money is actually out there and how many people have businesses and are making money, it exposes. I know what's out there, so it's like, if they're doing it, why can't I? Like, I met one of these investors from Grant, who's a good friend of mine now. Dude, last year on Amazon, his company did $77 million, and he's a normal dude. He's nothing special. He's a smart guy. He's a little nerdy. He's smart, but he's an expert at Amazon. He knows what he's doing. But he started just like me, dude. One product, took a risk, invested a little bit of money up front, and then it just grew over time.
To everyone listening again, just like expand your mind, because many people, including myself, one of the major goals has always been, coming from where I come from, I want to make $1 million. I want to make $1 million. But then when you expose yourself and your mind to people making 77 times what your life goal is, it forces you to change your mindset and accept newer realities and newer ways of learning. And like you said, if you meet someone that's making $77 million, you'd be stupid to walk away and not try to ask him 500 questions.
Yeah, that's like, again, I was just exposed to like another level of wealth. One, just watching Grant with his jets and this and that, but like, it wasn't even that. What impressed me the most was like the businesses he created and the real estate he owned, like, dude, that's real estate is indestructible. Like, if you do it in the right way, I truly believe you will never. Everyone says there's risk in any investment, which is true, but real estate done the correct way and buying in the right location, to me, I see zero risk if you do it the right way. And he's done that over the past 15 years.
I think
So like his
in
wealth
real
is
estate.
solidified, bro. Like it's
Well, that's what it goes to what I was going to say. I think your money is safer in real estate than it is in your bank in a savings account. Especially if you don't have an American Express savings account.
Look what just happened, dude.
That's so.
Three of the biggest banks in the world just poof.
First of all, if you don't have an American, I don't know if you have one. I'm assuming you do, but if you don't have an American Express savings account, I highly recommend it. It's going to get you back more on any other savings account out there.
What does yours pay?
Right now it's at 3.3% or something. But when I first started, my brother told me about
I
this.
have Ally Bank. Ally right now is paying 3.6%.
Okay. See, I just learned something new. That's nice. That's
so
good.
I learned I learned that from YouTube. But what's a little so Ally Bank, it's a big bank. They're a big online bank. But I would say they're not as reputable as an American Express. They're still 100%. Like I have all my savings there. I wouldn't feel comfortable if I didn't trust the bank, which I do. But at the end of the day, you don't know. But like the odds of a bank collapsing is probably slim to none, but it could happen. You never know.
I'm just saying when you dump most of your money into real estate, it allows it to grow over time.
Yeah,
in the span of 10 years,
grow a lot faster, bro.
Yeah, more than a savings account would.
Like,
but
not so. I'll keep this anonymous. I know someone who got a lump sum of money. Probably when was it? It was in 2010. Someone died, and they got some life insurance plus some of their savings. Right, so it was about $300,000. Over the past 10 years, if they simply would have bought a property all cash for $300,000 here in Miami, in Little Havana, wherever.
Shout out to Little Havana.
That property would probably be worth $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 today. Instead, that person, that $300,000 is now $250,000. One, because they spent some of it, and two, because it's sat in cash the entire time. So the money is not going to grow in your bank. Whereas if you took that same money and bought a piece of property, right? There's something called inflation, which not a lot of people know what that is. It's the rising of prices and cost of goods. So whatever, like that same $300,000 property,
value went down.
Over the next 10 years, right? Inflation occurred and the value of the property went up, right? Because that's just what happens with real estate. It goes up over time in the right locations. But the money sitting in the bank stayed the same. So technically it lost value.
Yeah.
Which is that always, like, the concept of inflation really, like, some things take a while for me personally to understand. And when I heard that story, it made it, like, it makes you, it solidified the idea, like, money in the bank. Yes, is it safe to have it there? Yes, but you can't get rich playing it safe all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good that you learned all that from Grant. It opened up your mind, and then you were able to not only have a successful business but run it, because those are two completely separate things. And so you were able to, I guess, monetize or make your fishing line brand more automatic, where you hired people, which is a huge thing to do as well as you grow. So now I saw you invested in an office to basically create content. So how's that been going for you? How long have you had it? And tell me about your experience.
Yeah, I mean, so I was running my business from home, and there's just only so much time you can spend in your room. Like you have to get out. So I just wanted a separate place to work where, like, I had all my camera equipment set up, I had my desk set up. So it just made things a lot more efficient, right? Time is money. You hear that all the time, but it's true. Like, every time I had to film in my house, it would take me 20 minutes to set up the gear, the microphones, the lights, get the camera angle right. Where now in the office, I just turn off the light, turn on the light, set up, like, the camera's already set up, I press record, and it saves me 30 minutes every day, you know? So it's that was just more of an efficiency play. And as the business grows and as you make more money, right, your time becomes more valuable. So you need to make every single minute and day account without wasting time, because you'll make more money. So the more videos I can make efficiently, the easier it is for me, the more money I will make on YouTube or my business, whatever it is.
And how long have you had the office now?
Like a year, like 7 months, 8 months.
And I'm assuming you're renting it out per month, so
Yeah.
that's a business expense.
Yeah, I don't pay for it. My business pays for it.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, do you have another job, like a 9 to 5 at the moment, or no?
No.
Okay, cool. So
my
then,
9 to 5 is my business.
exactly. So that goes with what I was gonna say. Is a lot of times people want to start a business to escape their 9 to 5, but what they need to realize is you need to start a business around your passion.
Yeah.
Because once your business takes off and you don't need the 9 to 5 anymore, you're not free. Now you're doing the
By
9 to 5
means.
with your job and your company. So make sure, if you're gonna grow something, make sure it's filled with passion and something you love, because that's what you're going to be stuck in. Like, you might not have a job anymore, but you're going to be growing 40 hours a week.
So something else I learned from working for Grant and learning about business is, as your business grows, if you're doing it the right way, your job technically should get easier, because you're hiring out and delegating the work that you don't want to do. So I've done that, but I'm still in a position where I'm still doing a lot, where I think for us to grow more, I need to make another round of hires. So like a full-time content creator / videographer / editor, because I'm still doing most of that. Where if I had someone who handled all of that I could probably gain 20 more hours of my week. I probably need to hire a product development person, because right now all of the new products I'm creating takes time. And if I just had someone who that was their sole job, we would, one, make a bunch of more products than I could do myself. Two, I would get a lot more time back. So as business grows, it technically should get easier, because you're delegating these tasks, and each specific person is in charge of driving their own sort of revenue towards the company. But in the beginning, you do kind of have to wear all the hats. Like in the beginning, I literally did everything myself, whereas now I've delegated out the social media, I've delegated out the ads, the email marketing, the shipping, the customer service, right? All of those things I did myself. But as you grow, you delegate. So technically, as business grows, people think, oh, you're managing more, you're doing more revenue, it gets harder. No, on the contrary, it gets easier if you're growing in the right way. Because some people will grow a business, but they'll get stuck they literally get trapped working for their business. Mm-hmm. So instead of working on their business, they're working in their business. And there's a huge difference. Like me working on my business would be generating new ideas of how we can make money, and then I tell key people to go implement, where instead of, which is kind of what I do now, I think of new ideas, but right now, for the most part, I'm still the one implementing them. So I need to hire out key people, basically operators, to operate the day-to-day of the business.
It's like going from self-employed to CEO is the way I
Yeah.
So when it comes to just investing in that studio to be able to create your content, tell me what your schedule is like with that. Do you try to do 2 videos per week, or do you try to do more or less? And then when it comes to editing, since you said you're looking for someone now, but since you don't have one, like how many hours of editing do you do per week?
So I've found editors on Fiverr and Upwork.com. These are people who those are websites where you can hire people to do basically any task: customer service, graphic design, logo making, whatever. I found an editor on there. So there's this guy I've been working with for the past, call it 6 months. I would say his quality is not top notch to where I want it, but it gets the job done. So there's some days where I'll go in and I know I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to film. I'm going to take half the day and focus on coming up with ideas to film and filming. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to look at emails. I'm not going to get on calls and get distracted. Like, that's all I'm going to do. So I really have to carve out time. And like today, perfect example. I hadn't made a video in a couple weeks, and the first thing on my to-do list was make a video. And the first 2 hours in my office, I literally sat there. I'm like, what do I want to make a video about? I kind of scripted the idea. No, I made a topic of the idea. Sometimes I'll script it out, or I'll make bullet points. Like today's video was how I quit my 9 to 5 and became self-employed. So that one, it was just kind of, I wrote the topic and the style of the video was more of a storytelling video. Whereas if it was like 7 ways to make more money or 7 side hustles to make more money, that I would probably list out and then just go off the list. So I just carve out time to work on content. And then the other half of the day is answering emails, working on the business, doing things to grow the business, doing miscellaneous tasks, because that shit, there still is like answering emails is miscellaneous, but it has to get done. You know what I mean?
Time consuming.
Yeah. So
well.
it's just about planning and being intentional with your time and being like, hey, I'm gonna take these 2 hours and make 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 videos. You can batch content. So like, if you can figure this out and you had 4 people today, like technically you probably could have filmed 4 instead, because I know your buddy drives from Plantation. Instead of doing that every day, you can have him come on a Saturday and line 4 podcasts up.
It's funny you mentioned that. We just talked
about
this
so you have me, let's say you have me from 1 to 3, and then you have Raymond from 3 to 5, and then you have John from 5 to 7. You get 3 podcasts in one day of your time. That way that's called batching content, and you have it for the future instead of making 1 video a day, which is more time consuming.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just being efficient, especially with the way business works today. Again, you can literally start any business with literally no money. It's like literally what I did. And there's no excuse from the resources. Again, this is talking about the average person who has access to a cell phone and internet connection, which is going to be the people watching this or listening. You can literally start with a cell phone that records video and an internet connection. You can literally change your life. Look at on TikTok, Kabi, the guy who goes like this.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, that guy...
So what's funny? I don't know him or of him, but when you did that, I'm like, I saw something on Instagram that there's this guy that has never said a word.
So that guy literally changed his life, has like 200 million followers, and was living like in poverty, but he had access to an internet connection and a smartphone with a video, and his 2 years, his life completely changed. Now he's the main model for Hugo Boss. Like, bro, it's crazy. So like that's why there's just no excuses. If you have a cell phone with a camera and an internet connection, you could change your life.
I agree. That's a great way to because we're coming up on time, so I feel like that's a great way to just wrap it up. I mean, I feel like we've had great conversation from where we knew each other, which was playing baseball with shout out Coach Weiser. Always gonna shout out Weiser every chance I get. Great guy. But we played baseball in Coral Gables, and then you talked about your story from playing college ball to just building a business and then building a brand and everything you've been through. And I guess what I would just like to end this episode with, because you're gonna be back, you're gonna talk about more experiences that you go through, more ups and downs, and we're just gonna get a feel for your ups and downs are going to help so many people out there. So that's why I love doing this. But what would you say Miami means to you? You were born and raised in Miami, right?
Born and raised in Miami, dude.
And your parents are from?
My dad's from Cuba. My mom's from New York, but all Cuban background.
Okay, nice. So it's funny, I didn't even know that. And you're Jewish?
Cuban Jew, yeah, Juban.
Okay.
100%. All 4.
I never knew your dad was Cuban.
All 4 grandparents were born in Cuba, and all of them were all Jewish. So full-fledged Juban.
Juban. Yeah. Never heard that before. That's amazing. Where do you find the Juban?
In Miami Beach. Dude, my temple that I go to has a bunch of Jubans. Like a bunch.
Nice. So what does Miami mean to you just growing up here?
Man. So it sucks because real estate's so expensive that I have to consider moving.
Especially nowadays.
But honestly, this is seriously my plan. Is I'm probably gonna move away from Miami, so I can have the space and facilities to continue to build my business. But my dream is always to live on Miami Beach in a waterfront home, which right now you're not getting less than $5 million. So I got to make a lot of money. But yeah, dude. I seriously think there's no better place to live. One, because of the weather, the people, whether you love them or hate them, but like the diversity of the culture. Like, so I'm Jewish, right? I can walk around with my chain out. That this is, it means the number 18, but it's like good luck in Hebrew. When I go other places, other states, I feel uncomfortable wearing this out because you just don't know. Like, you can have an anti-Semitic crazy person in Arkansas where I just was. No offense, but you never know.
No, actually, that makes perfect sense because now you mentioned your chain. I have a just gold Cuban link chain too on as well, right? And here in Miami, it's very common.
Normal, bro,
it's normal.
because
the
culture.
Wear this out and I just have it like this, anywhere else, maybe up north in Arkansas, they might think I'm a drug dealer or a criminal.
Yeah, so let's not even to pick on Arkansas, but wherever, let's say freaking Denver, Colorado, I don't feel as comfortable than I do in Miami. So like Miami's home, I feel comfortable because there's so many different people, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Jewish, yellow, purple, like you can fit in Miami. So that's why I love it here. And in terms of business and money, it's just like the amount of money and people you see, like it's just the place to be, I think, of all the places you can be in the country, especially Florida. So yeah, dude, it's Miami is home to me. Like that I truly feel like it's home to me, and I wouldn't want to live any other place because of the people, the business, and just that Miami life. We're launching a color for Beyond Braid called Miami Vibe, and it has like the Miami Vice colors. I couldn't say Miami Vice because it's trademarked. But yeah, it's called Miami Vibe. It's gonna be a sick ass color, and
Miami Vibe.
Miami
Nice.
Vibe. Yeah,
like
so
that.
It's gonna be
that's
white,
the perfect way to get
a
around
white,
that.
pink, and like turquoise color, like
That's
the Miami
gonna
Vice
sell.
colors.
That's gonna pop.
And like the packaging has like the Miami skyline. So it's like I'm doing that more of like a tribute to like where our company's from. We're from Miami.
Well,
and
all
that.
if you need a place to take some marketing pictures, the Miami Hustle is always welcome.
I'll send one to you so you can take a picture for me. That'd be dope.
Yeah, bro. Whatever you need, just set it up here.
Love it, bro.
And you said that you might move up. You said somewhere else.
Like Fort Lauderdale, because my girlfriend's there.
Close to home.
Yeah. No, nowhere too far. Just Miami is ridiculously expensive right now, and all that means is I just need to go make more money, and I can afford it. That's one thing I learned, bro. There's unlimited amount of money out there. You just got to go grab it.
Speaking of, sorry, just last thing, because this is funny. I remember you made another. By the way, if you guys don't know Ryan Maya, like, go follow him. Go subscribe to his channel because his videos are great. There's another video that you did when the gas prices were soaring. This is when they first started soaring. And everyone is freaking out and everyone doesn't know what to do or doesn't know what they should do. So that became a trending thing.
Yeah.
And you were the first one or only one that I saw just post a video of yourself in a gas station around others saying, hey guys, gas prices are high. You know what you guys need to do when gas prices are high? Make more money. Stop complaining. Like, shut up and go make more.
Yeah, like, and I broke it down. It's funny you say that because that was one of the first posts that I posted on TikTok that blew up. It got like 1 million views.
Did you care about hurting anyone's feelings?
No,
Yeah,
I mean
exactly.
it was because of how I really felt, and I wanted to show people that if you just take the different mindset of shit, like this is an expense, right, that just increased in my life. Worst case, if gas last year, you paid $2,000 for the year. If gas prices doubled, you're going to pay $4,000 this year. That's not that big of a difference to be freaking out if you just took that extra time and focused on your business. And instead of making $100,000, you made $200,000 this year. That extra $2,000 of gas prices doubling literally is so insignificant. So the fact that the whole point of it was just trying to change people's mindsets of like, stop focusing on the expenses, but focus on your income and focus on growth. Because if you truly do grow and you focus on that, those little expenses aren't going to matter anymore. Expenses, you can only take them down to zero, right? If you cut out all your expenses and really were coupon clipping, you could take it down to zero. But your income, if you focus on your income, you could technically increase your income infinitely, right? So that's why it's so much more important to focus on the upside income rather than expenses, worrying about stupid gas prices. So
that is gold right there.
Yeah.
You couldn't have said it any better. And sometimes it is what it requires is to almost like smack people in the face with it.
Yeah,
like, because if you were to break that down the way that you just did, but in that manner, it would have been a boring video.
Exactly.
If you're standing in a gas station
yeah.
and trying all these people, like, everyone shut up and go make more money. It's like, whoa, what's he talking about? And then when you break it down, it's like that Andrew Tate thing. It's like, what is he really trying to say?
Exactly. That's pretty. And it got 1 million views on TikTok, and
Wow.
I think got like 5,000 comments. 4,500 of them were all people just shitting on me. But then there's people in there who actually understood the message, and it is what it is. But again, I don't care that people are gonna shit on me because I'm trying. Again, I know what my intentions were. If it didn't come off that way in the video, whatever, my bad. Go look at other videos that I was making to learn. But like, that's just one way of showing the power of social media. People now saw me. Maybe they clicked on my profile and watched other videos, and I got some followers. So that's how that whole game works. But yeah, I was just trying to show people that there's better ways you can focus your attention than worrying about gas prices going up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I could talk to you for hours, and
Same.
I feel like we're running up on time, so
All
we're
good,
gonna
bro.
just keep this until we meet again, and you're back in the Miami hustle with the cameras on, talking about everything else that you're gonna be going through. So, of course, we
Thanks,
wish you
bro.
the best of luck, and thank you for passing by. You know, you're always welcome. And until next time, bro, the hustle continues.
Appreciate it, dog. Thank you.
Got you.